order the Board of Education meeting for Monday, October 10th for the School District of Milton. As such, we will start as usual with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Jennifer is unable to join us tonight, so we will soldier on with the six of us. Action on the agenda. Are you aware of any changes, Mr. Don?
No changes to the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion from Rick, seconded by Dave to approve our agenda. Are there questions on it? I see none. All in favor of approval signify with aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That clearly passes. Action on the minutes is next. They are included in board docs per usual.
I'll move to approve the minutes for the regular meeting held on September 26th, 2022 as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Motion from Dave, seconded by Rick to approve the minutes from our previous meeting. Questions on the minutes? All in favor of approval signify with aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That clearly passes also. Vouchers is letter E.
I'll make a motion to approve general checking account vouchers totaling $1,367,009.42 as presented.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion from Mike, seconded by Rick to approve our vouchers in the amount he just enumerated. Questions on the vouchers? I see none. All in favor of approval signify with aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That also clearly passes. Student council report, and we don't have Ms. Jennifer Johns, but we do have Ms. Mesa Johns, so welcome.
Yes, and we have Holly.
She needs a tag team partner.
Okay, so we are first gonna just report on our homecoming dance. We raised over $4,000 from our cause to come into the dance, and much of which we will be giving back to the community. And then to start off, we're gonna be doing each year we get gift cards around Thanksgiving and the holiday time, and then we give those out to various places to different community members.
We're also going to be donating a portion of the money to the Kenyan Heart Foundation, which is an organization that's focused on helping girls with their sanitary needs in Africa. And besides making donations, Student Council is also preparing for the annual blood drive. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for coming, both of you. Next on the agenda is public comment. We have no one signed up, so we will move beyond that to a superintendent update, Mr. Rich.
We have a few things to highlight in the Red Hawk highlights. I want to start with our Milton FFA, the milk product team won the World Dairy Expo 2022. It was held in Madison. So congratulations both to our staff and to the members of that team on that phenomenal achievement. Members of that milk product team are Hannah Pennicook, William Henschel, and Sam Zabel. So congratulations to that group. The Red Hawk Marching Band on Saturday hosted the 4th annual Marching Band Invitational. 11 schools attended. It's one of the largest of that type of event in Wisconsin. And the marching band has been having a wonderful season. They looked great on Saturday night. They finished first place in competitions at Greendale and in Sauk Prairie. And the state tournament is at UW Whitewater this coming Saturday. So we wish them the best of luck at the state tournament for marching bands. We had some visitors from Argentina at Milton High School. 12 students and 4 adults from Argentina were in our area on a short-term exchange program. They took a tour of Milton High School last week. They visited students in Milton High School Spanish class and gave our students an opportunity to practice their Spanish language skills with native speakers and to learn more about Argentina. great opportunity for our students to have that mini immersion experience. So thanks to our staff for putting that together. Northside students had their Science and Immersion Day. 6th grade students took a field trip for the Fall Science Immersion Day, promoting the field of science and engineering to underrepresented groups like women to potentially unlock any current or new interest for the participants. Maybe you've seen the announcement on the school district's Wall of Honor inductees. But those recipients have been selected, and we're really excited to announce that inaugural class. They're nominated by community members. Those individuals have distinguished themselves for their outstanding service and contributions, both to the district community and beyond. Formal induction ceremony is coming up on October 13th, this Thursday, 7 p.m. at Milton High School. It's open to all community members. We invite anyone who's interested to attend. There'll be a formal, like I said, a formal induction ceremony and then a unveiling and reception to follow in the event commons. And the inductees in the inaugural class are Mabel Maxon, former Milton College professor and librarian, Wally and Faye Schilberg, local folks and philanthropists with the school district, Willard Bill Shadle, radio TV journalist from 1943 to 1963, who was recognized around the world for his work. Don Brewink, a former educator, coach, and school board member. And Doug Welch, a local author, historian, and advocate for the city of Milton and for Milton School District. So congratulations to those recipients of the inaugural class for the Wall of Honor. We also have, this week is National School Lunch Week. So thank you to Mike Gosdeck and everyone on our school nutrition team for their continued outstanding work in providing breakfast and lunch for our students across all of our schools. And then finally, we have some Red Hawk student athletes who have been performing in section and state tournaments. Red Hawk tennis player Hannah Kim did a great job at subsectionals and qualified for the section tennis matches. And then we had 2 golfers make it to the state tournament, and they competed in the first round today and the second round tomorrow. So Bethany Vidruk and Hannah Dunk have both qualified for the state tournament. In September, both were named first team all conference, and Hannah Dunk was the Badger East Conference Player of the Year. And Hannah has also been nominated for Athlete of the Week on wishsports.net. Community members can go to that website and vote for her over the upcoming week. So, and a link to that is available on our district's Facebook and Twitter accounts. And then for both Hannah and Bethany, I can give a quick update. They finished their rounds today, both playing very well. Hannah is tied for 10th after the first day. Shot a 77 today, and Bethany is tied for 30th and shot a 83 today. So we wish both of them luck and in tomorrow's final round for the state golf.
Any other questions for Rich on the Red Hawk highlights? If not, thank you for that. We will move on. Next up, we have a presentation, Transition Services for Students with Disabilities. I see Mr. Boran Ragazzi listed and Julia moving forward, so I'll assume it's a combo effort here.
I'm just going to introduce him. So yes, Declan is going to talk about our transition services. They've kind of evolved over the years. He's our special ed teacher at the high school, one of them, and now is serving as our transition specialist. So programming options are top notch, and I want him to talk about what everything he needs to know. So we do have a little bit of a presentation and some videos, but I'll let him take it from here.
First and foremost, I would like to thank all of you for allowing me to be here tonight. When we're talking about transition, there's a huge umbrella of topics we cover, and services start at birth and continue on through adulthood. So it really is expansive and there's a lot to it. Next slide, please. So when we're talking about who helps with post-secondary outcomes, I traditionally start at the basic level of talking about 3 major components. We have the agencies that help support independent living skills, agencies that help support recreational activities, and then agencies that help and support post-secondary college and career readiness. And so when you look at all of the options for the voice and choice that families have, it can often seem very overwhelming and it's hard to navigate. And so that is what I appreciate most about working for a district that honors that and is courageous enough to have continuing conversations and a better understanding of what it is. Next slide, please. So last year was our first year of introducing SOAR, which is our Beyond 18 program. Students with disabilities, if their IEP team determines that there is a need and a goal to be worked on, can stay past the traditional K-12 experience. And we work on a wide variety of things such as soft skills, so those daily living skills that will transfer anywhere you go, giving them opportunities to explore their community as well as possible job options, adult services that will help them. So a lot of times students will start off in children's long-term support, but when they reach 18, they have to make a few decisions when they have a disability. Those include things such as guardianship, and will parents or caretakers have full guardianship? Will they have guardianship over specific areas, so such as medical history or financial power? So there's a lot of decisions on those adult services help students and families transition through that. And then what resources, what supplementary aids and services do they need to be most successful in the community, whether that be assistive technology or another form of support. So we have two options this year. We have our community-based option where students are really starting to just explore the community and get more acclimated to what it's like to not be in the high school. So the picture you see is of one of our students exploring money management skills, of having to have a budget when we're going out to a restaurant, and then how to tip appropriately, and also have those social communication skills while you're out and about. And then if we click on the link, I have a video of our work-based model. This is of one of our students. In the work-based model, we are focusing primarily on that work stamina and being able to go to a job and spend 3 to 4 hours there. That's based on our indicator 14 data from previous years that showed a lot of our students with disabilities were only maintaining jobs of 15 to 20 hours. So really working on how do we teach these students the skills to be more successful and have a longer period of time. All right, back to our presentation, please. And next slide. We've also really ramped up services here at the School District of Milton, and there are 3 awesome, exciting things that we have introduced this year. So the first one is the Milton Portfolio, and this is based on the pre-employment transition services. So every student with an IEP 712 will start having this filled out. That is part of my responsibility as transition specialist if one of the case manager needs assistance with it. There are 7 different categories ranging from job counseling to instruction and independent living in the community and home to instruction and self-advocacy. And if you click on one of the tabs on the bottom where it lists, keep going, beautiful. There are 20 to 30 specific skill sets in each of the 7 pre-EPs. So we're filling this out a little bit more specifically so we have data on how to improve our programming, as well as on ensuring that all students make the portrait of the Red Hawk the way they should. So it's a really nice correlation between what the team did for the portrait of the Red Hawk and then tying it back to what DPI has established as some of those pre-EPs. The next thing we have is down below is a transition checkout document. And what this is we have new spaces at the high school, as well as a van. So any member of our team, K-12 and beyond, is able to check out any of the facilities and utilize them throughout the school day. We also have a tab where it says Declan Checkout, and what team members can do is they can request me to do things such as attend IEPs, to talk about transitions. I have attended classes to talk to students about what transition services are offered. So it's a new element to my role because I do have a transition prep now through the high school schedule. And I think that's really going to positively impact what we are able to provide here. And then the last piece of the puzzle is a rough draft video of what our new transition spaces look like. Hello, my name is Stephen Bonagazzi, and I am a proud member of the School District of Milton. Today, I have the distinct honor and privilege of showing you our new transition spaces located at the high school. These facilities will positively impact post-secondary success for our students. Our transition spaces are located on the lower level of the high school. The first room is a Calhoun Career Ready room. So we have tables that are set up as if you were in a college. And then we will have a bulletin board when it's completed that talks about the differences between high school and college and the accommodations and the IEP process. In this area of the room, we have our career community area, where we will have different community agencies available. We do have a bulletin board that will feature a different agency each month. And then our community agencies that come in here to work with students, such as the Division of Vocational Rehab, will have a space in here to meet. Moving just across the hallway, we have our Milton Ready room. And this is comprised of a variety of businesses and spots that students can practice lifelong skills before going out into the community. This is the least ready room when I make some videos, so there's a lot more into it now. That area is a restaurant that features different restaurants located throughout Milton. Our studio. So we are very excited about the spaces that we have. If there are other businesses who want to contribute, we would love to have them. The next room we will pass by is our Assistive Technology and Orientation and Mobility, ADAM room. That is where we have different devices and such for our students. Here is our living ready room, and this has been transformed into a fully furnished apartment. We do have rental agreements that students will learn how to fill out. And then it comes fully furnished with everything you might find or need in an apartment. This room was sponsored by the Milton Fund, and we are very appreciative. One of our goals with this area is that we will have students across all grade levels accessing and gaining exposure to these skills and these areas of their life long before they leave us as Red Hawks. The last room is our vocational room. So on the bulletin board, we do have the many different career clusters and areas that a student may choose to participate in career exploration. And then we have different stations set up with specific career type tasks such as grocery clerking, health and nutrition, 5-lead, retailing, as well as we have a specific spot for Milton specific jobs. Thank you for joining me on tour today. If you have additional questions or comments, feel free to reach out to me with my email or phone number. Thank you for your support of the School District of Milton. Have a good day. So we are very appreciative of everything we have received and the great work we as a team are doing. I cannot thank Mary Lane enough. I cannot thank my high school staff enough. They are the ones who really got those rooms up and running, especially in the 2 weeks before school when we were back. we still need you. We are always looking to expand our services and continue to grow. So things such as day visits and exploration, where we can have kids just come into a business and get their feet a little bit wet, just to see what it's about. A job shadow would be for a student who might think they want a job, but have never seen it in action. So they get to go in and just watch for the day so that they can make sure what they have in their mind matches what they actually do. Jobs and internships. Also, we really just enjoy the different collaborations and the different career clusters that Milton offers, as well as innovation and new ventures. I try to come out with my team in a lot of different out-of-the-box ideas, but the more brains, the merrier. So, thank you, and I believe the next slide is just for any questions.
Well, I would say, Declan, you mentioned how proud you are of what you can do for us and how appreciative you are. I would think that we would mirror that back to you. I would just say on behalf of the board, wow, that was amazing. Anybody else? Questions for Declan?
How many students do you have in the program right now that are transitioning to the different areas?
So every student with an IEP has the opportunity to utilize the facility. So we have just over 30 students in our IE program, and that's including 9, 12, and beyond 18. And then we have students in our other classes as well that are utilizing the facility. So our financial class goes down there once a week to do some measurement and baking, and other students are utilizing it to practice other skills such as laundry services or just like filling out the job application and such.
Then you talked about using it as a K-12 space.
Mm-hmm.
So will they have opportunities to come up and visit? And
yeah, so that's what the checklist is hopefully going to be helpful with, so that the K-8 staff can check it out when they have availability. We also have that van. The van is really booked right now, so that's part of the issue of getting some of the other schools up here right now. But we are also planning a trimester transition event district-wide, so that will hopefully then each trimester will have a little something where all of the kids can come up.
oh,
Anyone else? Well, once again, just hats off. That was just incredibly, incredibly gratifying. Thank you. Okay, for our committee work, we had a joint HR Finance Committee, and Mr. Mullen will lead us through that.
Thank you, Joe. This was a joint meeting. We met last week on October 5th. First item on the agenda was the post-employment benefit valuation study addressing liabilities as of June 30th, 2021. The HR committee reviews salaries and benefits for active staff and benefits for retirees. Last school year, the benefits advisory group looked at benefit comparables as well 3 times throughout the year. The committee wants the board to be alert to the current other benefit, other post-employment benefits, thank you, liability, and the health insurance benefit that makes up the OPEB. We had a benefit consultant from Key Benefits shared with us last week at our meeting about the district's semi-annual summary of these benefits and the evaluation study. And we all heard that last week at the meeting. The next steps will be to have a benefits advisory group meeting to continue the discussion and look at the current comparable data, followed by further discussion with the committee and then with the board as a whole. Did anyone have any questions or comments about that? Or Chris, did you have anything to add? Vic?
Nothing to add.
The next item was the third Friday in September student count. Rich, can you help us with this?
Yeah, there are 3 different documents that are in board docs. We'll take a really quick look at the 2 tables that are included, and then circle back to the memo. So, Carl, if you would open the third Friday count enrollment document. Yep, thank you. So you can see here that this is split out by school and by grade level. And every year, school districts across the state are required to conduct a pupil count on the third Friday of September. And we report those results to DPI, and they use different versions of the count in different calculations that they have. But in general, what we track are the number of residents at each grade level across our district. Most of those attend our school district, but some of our residents open enroll out to other districts. And then we also track our enrollment, which is how many both residents and non-resident students attend our classes at each of our schools. So you can see that broken down by school on that document. If you go to the third Friday count number in buildings document with the multicolors, again, that's listing across each grade level the number of both residents and non-resident open enrollment students and JEDI residents at each of our schools. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner of that document, and this was also on the other document, you'll see our overall total enrollment, and this includes our pre-K through 12th grade is 3,427 on our third Friday count. And then if we go to the memo that's shared there, I'll highlight a few more things, some key takeaways there. As I mentioned, that total enrollment is 3,427 with 3,219 in K-12 and 208 students in pre-K and 4K. Below that, you see the comparison to last year. You can see that our overall total enrollment is down 13 students pre-K through 12 from the September count of last year to the September count of this year. When we just compare K-12, we're down 18 students from last year to this year. We are up in pre-K and 4K. Our largest class is this year's 12th grade with 280 students, and our smallest class in K-12 is this year's kindergarten class with 208 students. And that decrease, or that difference between our senior class and our kindergarten class always plays a role in what our projections will be for the following year. Right now, we're in a trend, which is also a statewide and a national trend, that the younger students get the smaller those classes are. So we had, on the third Friday count last year, we had 297 12th graders. Those students graduated, and when we replaced them with 208 incoming kindergartners, and that happens over time, our enrollment is going to be on a decrease, and we did see a slight decrease in our enrollment. The encouraging thing is that we have, with that trend of slight decrease, that is offset in part by lessening of that deficit in open enrollment students. So you can see on the bottom of the memo, the bullet points about open enrollment. Open enrollment out this year's 387 students that are residents of our district but are attending schools outside of our district. That's in comparison to 484 open enrollments out last year. So 97 fewer students who are living in our district but choosing to attend a school outside of our district. Open enrollment students in, or open enrollment residents who are, or non-residents who are open enrolling in for this year is at 373. So there's a net difference between in and out of negative 14. 14 more open enroll out than open enrollment in. So when I talk about that difference, that gap getting smaller, that's a trend that we've seen over the last few years. That gap was 60 students last year, the difference between out and in, and now it's down to 13 students. So that plays a part in the number of students that we end up in each of our schools. So we're hoping to continue that trend. So again, the key takeaways there are that we have that trend of a slight decline in enrollment over the past few years and continuing this year. That's offset, that difference between our outgoing seniors and our incoming kindergartners, though, is offset by open enrollment moving in the right direction. When we bring discussion to the board around budget projections for next year in November, we'll bring some more, both some long-term enrollment trends and also enrollment projections for the coming year. Questions, thoughts from board members?
Okay, thank you, Rich. Next item is a finance item, so I'm going to pass that on to Mike.
Thanks, sir. At our combined HR Finance Committee meeting on Wednesday, October 5th, we discussed the issue of debt defeasance. We discussed what it is, how it works, and why it can be advantageous. Basically, debt defeasance is prepayment of debt that is issued. In layman's terms, it is paying off the debt before it's actually due. The board sets the annual tax levy in October. It is our responsibility to set the levy sufficiently to pay the principal and interest payments on voter-approved referendum debt, among other things. The board may also levy funds for additional and/or future payments of this debt. In 2019, the district issued $59.9 million in general obligation bonds. The bonds cover a 20-year period and have an overall interest rate of less than 3%. We currently have about $52.5 million outstanding, with our last scheduled payment in 2039. The advantage of prepaying debt or debt defeasance is the savings on interest payments, which ultimately lowers the levy amount to taxpayers. It's important to note that if funds are levied for debt defeasance, that is the only purpose for which this money can be used. As noted in Carrie's memo, the Finance Committee meets on October 20th to discuss this further, and will be bringing a recommendation to the full board at the regular school board meeting of October 24th. Anything to add, Ms. Carrie?
No, I have nothing to add.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Any questions?
Very thorough, Mr. Mike.
Thanks.
And I don't see any questions, so we'll consider that. Done. 5 is new business. And Mr. Billhorn is making his way up. This item is discussion and possible action on 2022-23 Milton High School extended field trip requests. Mr. Billhorn.
All right, well, thank you. So, yeah, so we have, per board policy, any trip that is going overnight needs to come for approval. And so this is the list the best list we have so far. Those staff that are looking to take students for an overnight trip. Most of these are for the annual trips and do include any potential overnight stays for athletic state competitions. They represent a variety of clubs and student organizations. In each case, they have submitted their request to me. They meet the requirements that we have for ratio of adults to students in the planning, as well as that they have dates. And in most cases, all the activities are using student activity accounts as well for funding. It's not to say as soon as we bring these forth that inevitably I will have someone who will have another trip they wish to take, but we try to get as many as we can in the first week. Having this meeting is a pretty good chance I'll get another one in the next week.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2022-23 Milton High School extended field trip request as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Motion from Rick, seconded by Shelley, to approve the extended field trip requests. Questions on them? All in favor of approval signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Clearly passes. Mr. Billhorn on B, discussion and possible action on early graduation requests.
Okay, so coming to you tonight then too is also the request for our students who have requested our senior class to graduate early. We've made some changes to this policy in recent years. So students can graduate at the end of second trimester if they meet the requirements. We do have one student who's looking to graduate at the end of first semester. There's additional requirements that's much more rare, generally some special circumstances. You'll see that there are a total of 43 students, I believe, that are on that list, which is increased. That's an increase from past. It's the most that we've had. This actually represents a trend across the state on students that are choosing to graduate early. I checked with the Badger Conference. We've seen the last few years really coming out of COVID as well, more students who are looking to graduate early if they've met the requirements. Going through the applications, most students are going to be enrolled in some sort of post-secondary education program, either this coming summer or next fall. In some cases, they're going to take a few classes yet this spring. Various programs have set on a true semester program, but in many cases, students are looking to work as well as they prepare for next fall. In all cases, too, in that part of that application, they need to show this is part of their academic and career plan and what they're choosing to do now to launch them out after high school.
If they graduate early, are they allowed to participate in sports or extracurriculars for the spring?
No, so if once they do choose to graduate, then we consider them like alumni. They have graduated. They can still participate in the commencement in June, but they are not eligible for.
Are you concerned with the number? I am. I mean, I get it. Kids want to get out now and they don't need the extra credits or whatever, but the fact that it's March instead of January, so you can't start like a semester class or a post-secondary, you know what I mean? You're in the middle of the term, so.
You remember too, and a lot of students are going on to technical school too. Oftentimes their sequence of courses are not necessarily just on the semester. In many cases, Black Hawk Tech has a lot more 1 credit classes, 2 credit classes. They don't necessarily follow that semester. So it's a changing of thought too. And yes, you're correct. They would not be able to roll at a semester class and you know your students what. But there are more online options as well too, where they can get credits before they get started that next fall. Many of these students have talked about doing that in their application.
I'd like to see them be kids as long as they can be kids. It's a long life of being an adult.
Is this kind of a direct offshoot of us transitioning to the trimester schedule?
It does have an impact on it, yes. Sure. So you do have the opportunity to earn credits to be eligible at the end of that 11th trimester.
Sure.
But it is a trend across schools, whether they're in the trimester or in semester, you have more and more students that are looking to graduate early. One thing too that should be noted, students have to have their applications in the end of September for this. Inevitably, we always have a percentage of these students who say, kind of like to be a kid for one more trimester. And in which case, if they come and if they ask for a schedule, we'll allow them to stay.
That was going to be my question. If we approve these kids, they can still opt out, I guess is the right way to say it.
Yeah, they can still have a 12
stay till 1st of June or whatever.
Inevitably, some of these students I'm sure will do that.
Okay.
And they don't have English, they've met their English requirement for senior year?
They have.
Even not having that last trimester, good.
They need 1 credit, they can take a half credit in each of the first 2 rounds.
You might not know this, Jeremy. Are some of these kids just going to get a job to help finance college education? Because we all know the price of college education now is extremely high. So.
Absolutely. I have gone through each of the applications and I've spoken with most of these students. They have, in almost all cases, they're going to increase hours to help pay for whatever post-secondary looks like. That's very real.
Very real, because lots of kids are helping pay for their own education, so, yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the early graduation requests as presented.
Second.
Motion from Mike, seconded by Shelley to approve the early graduation requests. Questions from the board? All in favor of approval signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Clearly passes. Stay at the podium, Mr. Billhorn. C is early college credit and start college now.
Right, and so this is the semi-annual, bringing forth those students who are wishing to take advantage of the state program. It's a good program. There's 2 separate ones. Start College Now is being able to take school from the Wisconsin Technical credits from the Wisconsin Technical College system, early college credits through the UW system. Below are the students who are electing to be eligible to take courses this next spring and the various courses that they're choosing to take. This represents this is a little bit below average for a spring request. But again, these are students who want to be eligible to take those classes. Oftentimes, they're not able to sign up for these courses until a bit later on the fall, and sometimes those schedules work and sometimes they do not work. So, not every one of these students who requested are actually going to be able to fit into their schedule. It's usually the college's schedule that they do.
Jeremy, do these classes build on themselves? I'm just thinking, like, for example, at Whitewater, most classes are like 3 credit classes.
Correct.
So in this case, it looks like that's the case, 3/4 of a credit here equals 3 credits at Whitewater, and so forth. Is that, am I reading that right, I guess?
Yes, you are correct. As far as the percentage of college credit to high school credit, you kind of take a look at the hours and look at how many hours that they have versus the credits. Generally, 3 credit classes we count as 3/4. When you say that, do they build upon each other? They have specific classes that they're choosing.
Right. I mean, do they, if a student's looking for, majoring in X, Y, or Z, do these fit into those specific programs concurrently, or is it they're one-offs potentially, or more likely?
So some students are choosing to take, first of all, for these classes, early college credit, we can't have, they must have exhausted the existing classes we have here. One that I forgot to mention. Some students aren't eligible to take those classes. If they wanted to take like psychology 101, they would have had to have taken our AP psychology at the high school level.
Okay.
And that's often true with a number of our welding classes. We make them with the start college now. They have to exhaust what classes we have available before we allow them to take those. Some students choose to take classes because it's part of a program. Some students have a set plan that they want to, that they're with their academic and career plan calls for and what they're looking for, and they're trying to get classes done now with their senior year of higye school. Some students, they're exploring, they've exhausted some courses here, they want to try something that works in their schedule.
Okay. Thank you. Need action on this?
We do not. No. This is aligned with policies that we've got in place. So this is basically Jeremy's update of how many kids are doing it and what they're doing. So any other questions for Mr. Billhorn? Otherwise, thank you for that.
Thank you.
D on new business is action on 2022-23 open enrollment alternative applications, the summary of which is included for you.
I make a motion to approve the 2022-23 open enrollment alternative applications as presented.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion from Rick, seconded by Dave, to approve the open enrollment alternative applications, which is 1 in and 2 out. Any questions on it? I hear none. All in favor of approval signify with aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That is approved. Miscellaneous, gifts and donations is A. That summary is also included. I'm sorry.
I'll move to approve the gifts and donations with gratitude.
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion from Dave, seconded by Mike, to approve our gifts and donations with the gratitude of the board. Questions? All in favor of approval signify with aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That also clearly passes. Future meeting dates, Mr. Dahman, what do you got?
Our next regular board meeting is 2 weeks from tonight on Monday, October 24th, here at our usual location. We have a couple committee meetings that are already scheduled. Curriculum committee is meeting on October 17th. It's a week from today at 3:30 p.m. And that meeting will be at the Milton High School office conference room. The finance committee is meeting on October 20th at noon. That'll be in the second floor conference room. And that's the finance committee, October 20th at noon. Here at district office in the second floor conference room. It's not a committee of the board, but we are starting up our staff advisory meetings. Jennifer joins myself at those meetings, and the first one of those is this Wednesday at 4 p.m. But then the one meeting that we need to schedule is a policy committee meeting, and we'd like to hold that policy committee meeting during the week of October 31st. If possible. And I don't know if people have know their calendars that far out yet or not, or if you want us to reach out and schedule that policy committee.
We do the second?
Wednesday the 2nd?
Yeah, I mean,
At what time?
I'm good. I can do anytime.
We have a benefits advisory group meeting that we're planning at 4:15. So we could go before that or after that, or
Yeah, let's do before.
does
Want to do like 3 o'clock?
Does 3 o'clock work? Sounds good. Is that
Let's do 3 o'clock. then.
any objections from the folks who are involved in presenting policy at that at 3 o'clock on Wednesday, October 2nd?
Will that be here?
What's that?
Where, my location here?
At 3 o'clock, why don't we do that in the second floor conference room? Yes, November 2nd, thank you. November 2nd, 3 p.m., second floor conference room.
And we will meet, this board will meet again before that for a reminder.
Yeah.
Is that good for meeting dates?
That's it.
All right, so moving on, we are scheduled for an executive session tonight. And we'll entertain a motion in a moment. But we are also potentially have action on that, so we may, I shouldn't say may, we will reconvene after the executive session, just for protocol. So I would entertain a motion to go into executive session subject to Wisconsin statute 1985 sub 1 and sub C, which is considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Subject matter is professional staff employment.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Motion by Rick, seconded by Dave. Roll call vote. Shelley?
Yes.
Joe is yes. Rick?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
John? Yes. And Dave?
Yes.
6-0, unanimous. We are in executive session. Thank you for coming, folks.